You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford. You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
Good evening and welcome to this afternoon, actually, 5 o'clock meeting on April 25th, the Board of Fire Commissioners meeting at 45 North Main Street. First off on the agenda is to consider and appropriately approve the minutes of February 22nd, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Under personnel, I would like to at this time request that we go into executive session. Do I have a
I'll
motion?
move that we go into executive session.
Second.
Okay, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're back. We're out of executive session at 5:09. Present executive session was Commissioners Massey, LaCroix, Riccio, Fox, Ahern, Fire Chiefs Mahoney, and Brian, the Assistant Fire Chief Kodiak. Okay, that's 5:10. Personnel, just to continue on a couple of things. We have one firefighter out on long-term sick leave. We've had one firefighter that's been separated due to injury. And just a big announcement, MP Rice is going to be holding their 125th celebration of years of service to the community, 6 p.m. at November 2nd at the Pine Orchard Club. It's going to be the Fireman's Ball. So it's going to be open to, I think, eventually the department it's open to the department. I'm sure other people outside the department too.
Yeah, they're gonna see what
Yeah.
the capacity is and
Yeah.
how much response before they open it up further.
No, they can hold about a good crowd down there, you know, so that'll be good for it. Next is finance.
Yes.
Commissioner?
Okay, just a couple things through the chief's report. Since we requested $70,000 from contingencies, our repair and maintenance account is currently overdrawn by roughly $13,000, and that's due to an increase in major vehicle and apparatus repairs and inflation. So I just want to let everyone know here, and Dave can tell me as well as the chief, because of our call volume, these vehicles are being used more often. And this is why we're getting an increase in what
And
we're
the age
seeing.
of the fleet is
Correct.
really driving it.
That-
Because as
And I'll touch on that
Kozak
when I get to
Yes,
it.
yeah.
had noted earlier, for instance, engine 5, which is our newest piece, had almost zero, it's just PM.
Right.
But everything that's been 27 years old, 20 years old,
And
those are big repairs.
And we're using them more
And
often.
we're using them, yeah.
Again, because of call volume. So, and on the brighter side, our budget got passed through the Board of Finance with no reductions.
Oh, wow.
And then also too, the first part of the RTM Public Service Committee also approved it with no reductions. So now we head to the RTM, and we'll find out about that.
Yep.
And that's all.
So, Commissioner, the R&M account is overdrawn by how much?
12,800.
Okay,
exactly.
roughly 13,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll make the comment for the public.
Thank you.
That in the 21 years that I've been on the commission, that's the first time that I recall that account ever being overdrawn. There's usually a reserve left from that. So that sort of tells the tale, doesn't it?
Yes. That the vehicles are being used,
A lot.
yes.
And
And that's also due to the apartments that are, our infrastructure in town. And we're seeing a lot of apartments coming in, we're seeing a lot of buildings going up, and it's creating
It's a burden.
demand.
Yeah, it's a big demand. Yeah. Okay. Training, Commissioner Clem was unable to make it tonight. She was going to call in, but due to circumstances, she can't. Does anybody have her report on that? Or we can just defer that to next meeting.
I think.
I know we had
I have
the
the
road
gist of
training,
it.
yeah.
The gist of it essentially is that we've been doing our ongoing training. We've realigned the training to meet the OSHA requirements and all the services we provide. We have the AFG grant, so we're currently in delivering this second class of 4. Each certification level. So we did rope rescue, vehicle and machinery, trench, and confined space. So we have one more delivery of vehicle to do in the fall. We're currently in the process of doing 2 rope deliveries, and then the third will start in May. And then in the fall, again, we'll do the other 2 deliveries. But everybody's been, it's a lot, because they're doing it all as extra work, but the feedback's been great. In addition, we've been out on the water training additional boat captains to get ready for the season and also to season our young crew, because they just don't have the experience. So that's been going well. And other than that, I don't know if there's...
The truck class?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we have several new Truck 1, the ladder truck operators headed by Jim Carson and the instructor cadre. Again, the feedback from the members that took it was very well received, and they felt that having the opportunity to do it off duty, and they spent a lot of time going through the details. So all of that has been happening in the training division.
Do they
quite
get their
a bit going
queue
on.
also? Or is that
Oh, they had their queue. This
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
so they started out with, kind of the process is driver of rescue 1, just to get the driving part. You get your queue license, and then engine operator and truck. So they have their certifications of pump operator and aerial operator, but this was the last part of the process to get checked off. So they did that.
Good. Good job. Apparatus, Commissioner LeCroy?
Yeah, and so while we were just talking about the overdrawn of their R&M account, I can say now that there are 62 pending work orders for things that need to be done. There's a lot of detail involved in all of that. Things like motor stalling, fluid levels, lights, coolant levels, backup cameras, and that goes on, and I'll along with standard repair and maintenance like changing oil and that sort of thing, water leaks, power steering fluid check, all things, while small, very important to operate at a high level. Presently, there's 62 pending work orders. Presently, there are 14 in progress as we speak. Completed work hours on engine, there's been 16 completed work orders on engine 1, and I would remind the public that this is our frontline engine and needs to be running at its top performance all the time. Engine 9 has had 17 completed work orders, and this is an engine that's running more frequently now with the manning of Station 9. The Rescue 2 has had 17 completed work orders, and it goes on. I'll spare everyone the boredom of all that, and just speaking to what Commissioner Riccio had said earlier about the being over budget in this, our crews are running more and more. They are busier and busier. Most all of us monitor the calls just to see how busy they are all the time, whether we're getting a text or listening on the radio or something like that. And it's a very serious issue. And keeping these vehicles in top running condition is just paramount. Presently, one of our ambulances is being remounted, expect to be back sometime soon in May. And our new ambulance has been ordered, it's due in 30 weeks.
30 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, because it'll go to Eastford to get completed.
So the remount is going to be back, the new one?
And the remount should be back in May.
Wow.
They'll bring it right up to Eastford, and Eastford will complete it.
And I'll just add one more thing. We've ordered a new engine 1 preemptively because it's not due till 2025.
But it takes that long to get.
Yeah,
So this would.
we could use it today.
I understand it, but unfortunately, we have to wait. I mean, that's why we're doing this so early.
So what is the average right now? Is it 30 months for a new pumper?
3 years.
3 years.
36.
Yep.
Didn't we lock in a better price by ordering?
We
it
did,
too?
we
Yeah.
did.
It still was a lot of money
But
over.
But it was 2 reasons. The price, but also knowing that we wouldn't be able to see it until, like
Yeah,
Commissioner said,
yeah.
25. So it's one of the reasons we asked for the money that we did in the apparatus fund, that the board did make that capital cut with the
Yeah, that's
caveat
going
that
on.
said, when you know more about what the actual cost is.
Crazy.
And they've always been good about that, when they know we need something, they'll fund it at that point. And he did mention, either fund balance or contingency depending on the amount.
Should we mention that they're gonna be seeing a new red command car and 2 new white chief cars soon?
Do we want to save that for, as a surprise for later?
Yeah, okay,
or-
we'll save that for a surprise. We'll make sure we get all the gingerbread on it first, and we'll announce it, just so the public likes what's seeing, you know? Anything else, Commissioner?
That's all I've got,
All
thank
right.
you.
EMS, Commissioner Fox?
Okay. Following up on what Commissioner Riccio
Oh,
had to
God.
say.
Here we go. Yeah,
Put
money's-
the can of worms.
No,
Money.
well, I mean, the ambulance revenue at the end of April is 1.975, 415.
By the end of when, Kathy?
Well, we're at the end of April.
End of
That's
April.
that's up to date.
That's up to date. So
Close to 2 million.
yes, close to 2 million now.
Wow.
So by the end of the fiscal year,
Mhm.
we'll be well over 2 million.
We push those three.
We've had 4,304 incidents since July the 1st through April 24th. 3,113 transports, talking about your vehicles. 71% of our calls result in transport. The other piece of information is that we're a bit behind on our billing because there was a cybersecurity incident in late February that affected our billing company. So it's going to take some time to return to normal, and we currently have $270,131 outstanding
Wow.
that we're waiting for.
Yeah, so if I could just expand on that, Commissioner, all but about 70,000 of that is from the previous months. So the breach actually affected the government contractor, Change Healthcare, is part of a larger conglomerate that the government contracts with for their Medicaid and Medicare processing. So not only is the Branford Fire Department affected, there's a lot of hospitals and even the counseling center are the same thing because they bill as well. So if it wasn't for that, we would be over $2 million right now.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so that's
But
good,
we
though.
expect to see that in the door, so it's just
So that's
slower.
200 is not even included in the 1.9.
That's not.
No,
included.
so actually, we're over 2 million now,
in April.
in April, the end of April.
Wow.
We're
Right.
at 2.2,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's a lot.
yeah,
almost hitting on 3,
yeah.
2.3.
That's because of the call volume.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's
Well,
like-
what's we've been talking about for a couple of years here.
But
Or
I have
not.
to say, I've heard a lot of good feedback about Station 9, because our response time is second to none. I mean, it's working great. I mean, right now, we're on course. I mean,
Yeah, and unfortunately, it hasn't been staffed enough,
I know,
but
it's,
that's
A couple
because,
more weeks
you know,
because of all the
the amount of
mandatory
people can
training
only
going
work
on,
so
yeah.
much.
I hear you,
Yeah.
Chief, that's what I'm saying. It's like, my point is, once we get going there and staff it,
Once we have it running,
Yeah,
yeah.
it would,
it's good.
yeah, so.
Yep.
Thank you for that report. Buildings, Commissioner Hearn?
So the chief's investigating a issue with the CO system down at Station 9.
Yep.
I trust he'll have it resolved.
Yep, I think that's,
Yep.
He gave you that look.
We're hoping it is because it's sucking everything in, so we're negatively pulling everything into.
so we ended up just shutting it down
Yeah.
until they could,
See what
it's a
happens.
sensor issue is the
Yeah.
best we can figure out, but the part is no longer the part, so
But you've also got, for the guys, you've got portable ones down
we
there.
did, I installed them
Yeah.
myself, one on each floor.
So they're safe.
Yeah.
And if I could just add one little piece, because I know a little information. So on the future station on Acorn Road has been surveyed by the town.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they hired a local engineer to do it all. And the building could be a little bit bigger than we want,
Oh, that's good news.
5 feet each way, which matters on that, you know.
Mhm.
That's like thinking down the road of having, because it's an eastern station, if we need to put a ladder out there and
That's what I was gonna say. larger
auxiliary,
truck.
you know,
Yeah.
the pumper, you never know, so, yeah, so hopefully knock on wood. Well, there's
Good
still
news.
layers to go through, you know, but even though it was a commercial building there, it was IG2 industrial, so. But a lot of neighbors have contacted me just around that area, asking about it, and they're like thrilled. I said, well, there's not gonna be a siren going off.
No.
And we really seldom leave with sirens and lights blaring out of the building. We just go and put them on when we have to, so. Engine 9, when it leaves down in Linden Avenue, they don't put it on unless they have to, so they're really respectful down. So I think, and I explained to them why that piece of property, even though it's town-owned, why we can go everywhere, and they were all like, oh, wow. So, they were
Your
happy.
access points are.
Yeah, they were really happy, so,
That's great.
That's good,
yeah.
very good.
Good
So
stuff.
so we gotta keep the, you know, the swing going.
Keep the momentum going.
Yeah. Pension, I could speak on this right now. So the pension committee met on the 18th of April, and 19 of our 42 eligible volunteers earned a stipend for 2023. That's 45% that got it. So, I mean, I
The
thank
good
them all
news
for
is
what they
more of
do.
the existing volunteers earned it this year than last year, I believe.
Yeah.
The bad news is that that list has already shrunk, as we've lost several for various reasons. One full-time hire,
Right.
you know, no longer has the time, only wants to be social.
Yep.
That kind of thing.
Okay. Move on to the chief's report.
All right, so just real quick, call volume remains high. We average 18 and a half calls per day, with 10 a.m. being our busiest hour and Friday being our busiest day. Had a couple of structure fires in February, both happened to be on the same stretch of Windmill Hill Road. Thankfully, both were without injury. And then we had another one on the rooftop of Cumberland Farms. They were only out of service for a little bit due to the quick response and getting the fire out quick. So, you know, that was another busy day. I think we did 26 calls in that 24-hour shift time frame. So then, in addition, for the public, since January has been a particularly deadly month for fires, we've seen a spike in fires, so we've joined a statewide fire prevention campaign. Make sure you have working smoke detectors, make sure you have a plan. People think they can outrun fire, they can't. It spreads very quickly. So, you know, we wanted to get the word out, so we put some social media out, and the town has shared it as well. Deputy Chief Karpovich and Captain O'Rourke were both sworn in as deputy fire marshals, having completed the rigorous code and investigation course. And of course, we've been redesignated a heart-safe community. We actually grew that program this year with the Beach and Rec doing their 14 AEDs located at public fields, so that, God forbid, we have a sporting event with one of our youths or one of their adults has an issue. There is an AED available, because CPR, AEDs, and early access to 911 save lives. Other than that, everybody's been doing a great job. They make my job easier, and I appreciate that.
A lot of positive things. Chief Kosiak?
Next week, we continue our OSHA consultation process, and the OSHA inspectors will
How's
be
it going?
here. It's going well.
Good.
Everything that they've brought up that's a blind spot to us, which is what we wanted to learn to keep our people safe, been addressed. And then next week is the physical inspection of the stations. So,
They go, how many stations do they go to, all of them, or just stay at central headquarters?
we're going to go to one of the outlying stations, and depending on how long that takes,
Yeah.
that might be it, or they might come here. It's totally
Okay,
up to them.
yeah.
Other than that, I've been continuing to build out the records management software that we have. It's still relatively new. We're not using all the modules yet, so that's what we're aiming to do. Building out reports that we lost when we switched from one to another. So the daily incident snapshot, which at some point I hope we could share with everybody here. So you can see what's going on a regular basis. You know, how many calls we went to yesterday, what they were, and so forth. Our compliance reports, so we use that to track, you know, the physicals, fit testing, all the regulatory requirements that we have to make sure each firefighter hits. It's much easier to look at it on a snapshot of a report, so we built that out. And then I've spent a lot of time building out the payroll portion of the software, the scheduling module. So we're not transitioned over yet, but we're working towards a July 1 target for that.
Great,
So
good.
that will be a savings also, and that we won't need another separate standalone software.
How are we on physicals with everybody? Is everybody up to date? Or are we still missing
For the
some?
most part, we have some stragglers, as we always do.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, some of them are officers, which is a little disappointing because they're supposed to be the exemplar. So I did put something out on their, they have a Facebook
They have a
page.
Facebook,
and,
yeah, which I see.
that was strike one. Strike two will be another warning, and strike three will be, I will recommend demotion.
So when you did that, did anybody respond to you?
No.
Like saying, no?
No, because if you're gonna,
Yeah.
they don't have a right to be an officer. And if you're going to,
You have to
be
lead by
placed in
example.
that position of trust by a company, it's your job to, it's not us against them. It's not the, we are held to a regulatory standard, and we have to meet it. And so I think 3 months, we're now 4 months, has been extremely reasonable. And one of the things I'd like to mention about Chief Kozak's report is that the OSHA rules are going to be changing as far as the emergency response forces. They're going to start incorporating a lot more standards into them. It's going to be, they're going to have fitness standards and all kinds of, we're not quite sure of the impact yet. There's another webinar coming up we've attended, but it's, for the most part, we're prepared for it. A lot of the work that Chief Kozak and our Deputy Chief of Administration and Safety, who's a lot of the OSHA requirements and training falls under, they've been doing a great job in preparing for it. But, it will place a larger burden on everybody. But it's only because tragedies have happened over and over again, and I think the government's finally said enough is enough. If you don't meet these standards, you're not going to play. So, and then lastly, I'd just like to compliment Chief Kozak, and he brings a special kind of patience and tenacity when it comes to data and working with the software. Sometimes he has to get up and his head's going to explode. But he's using the data that comes into our records management software, and he's paired it along with Deputy Chief Murray, who's very technical savvy, with a program called Power BI, which is a Microsoft product that really gives us great vision. It takes all of our data and it makes it very visionary. And some of those reports is like the one that the commissioner has in front of him, will allow us to share a lot more information once we get it perfected with the public. And it certainly gives me as a decision maker the data that we need to be able to, and then go to you guys and the rest of the public and elected officials and show this is what's going on. So thank you for that. It's been
Thanks,
great.
Chief.
Yeah, good job.
Good job. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, these reports are great,
yeah.
the apparatus reports.
Thank you.
Old business? Anything? Just staffing. I'm gonna just repeat it. Now, let's see what happens on May 14th. Let's hope everything goes.
Yes.
Say prayers and hope. I think, hoping all the town fathers and mothers are out there listening to us, so I think they are. So I'm hoping. Under new business, we have one item to consider if appropriate extend a conditional offer of employment for the position of full-time firefighter paramedic to Paulina Schmaga.
So moved.
Sorry.
I'll second that.
We have a motion made and seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So voted. Approved. Otherwise, 5:32, motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. We're adjourned.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.